Hi guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a Valiant. Yeah, I don't think you can see that at all. You can't see that. It looks like this. By Merrie Destefano. A few weeks ago, I kind of mentioned this book in my video about DNFing books. Which books I've DNF'd this year and why I tend to just abandon things and finally give up on them. And I talked about this one and how it was in the DNF pile and then I ended up finishing it. So what I'm actually going to do is, because I said most of the things that I wanted to say, I think, in that video, but then ended up cutting it out of that video because it wasn't a DNF anymore, I'm going to go ahead and flash back to the things that I said when I was recording that video. And this was all stuff that I had talked about when I was up to about the 70% mark. So I'm going to share that, and then towards the end of this video I'm just going to kind of recap and finish up my final thoughts on what I thought of the book once I had completed it. So here is me from a few weeks ago talking about what I thought of Valiant up to the 70% mark, though I think it kind of applies to everything. Here you go. Even though I'm like 70% in and I only just started reading it, like I can finish this book tonight or tomorrow easily, I kind of just don't feel like it because I don't care. I've reached my cheesy tolerance, and once you kind of hit that threshold, I disconnect. So it has some things that are driving me out of my mind. It's very Mary Sue, and that's not something you'll ever hear me say because it's something I hate that term. I hate how that is used to insult so many books, movies, or whatever. Always against women. We don't seem to care as much when it's a sort of author insert male and it's like this distinguished jaded professor sleeping with his 19-year-old college student and we're like fucking over that. For the most part, like, we don't care about those like John Grisham author inserts or all those like thriller guys, Da Vinci Code bullshit, you know? We don't say anything about that. We don't have a little, you can say Gary Sue, but we never do. But we will toss that Mary Sue term out so quickly for the least little thing. And I'm not saying that there aren't those faceless author, reader, insert characters out there, but it just becomes too easy, I think, to brush off characters and dismiss female-centered stories as Mary Sue. But this main character in Valiant, I mean, I can't tell you really anything about her. She has no real personality other than that everyone seems to fawn over her and everything goes her way. All of these big bad characters, gang characters, military characters just like bow at her feet, hand her their guns, like, here, defend yourself. I don't need to defend myself. Like, it's stupid. Like, are you kidding me? And it takes away all the tension. You can't build this alien invasion world where the stakes are so high and people are dying all around you, and yet everyone keeps laying down their life for you, this person that they've just met. Where is the tension in that? I never believe that she's going to be hurt or the people close to her are going to be hurt if the seas just keep parting before them. That is the height of cheesiness, and that when you take away the consequences and the tension, I'm probably going to check out pretty fast. Even in the ease of the writing, like, the tension is taken away in other things. It's not just with her and people's sort of white glove handling of her, but the world building itself, the way plot points are revealed, the way character traits are revealed, this alien species, the people around her, the drugs, the city, the sort of futuristic elements, all of it seems very shallow, very surface. Like, it's supposed to be exciting and flashbang, and instead it just kind of falls flat because it ends up reading as cheesy. It doesn't feel like the weight of it is there. Now, this is a debut. Part of it might be that. It might just be, she needs to take those couple of punches that she's gonna get from those first horrible reviews, and unfortunately mine is one of them, I'm sorry. Then push past it and grow and develop more as a writer and develop her stories more. That could be it. Regardless, the point is, when you sort of reach my cheesiness threshold and you're not giving me something else to keep me going, like some butterfly-inducing romance or thrills and chills or a lot of humor, I'm gonna just kind of give up because I don't want to roll my eyeballs right out of my head. So those were my thoughts up until about the 70% mark, and I feel like it carried through. Now, I don't remember if I mentioned in that section that I had been about to give up. No, I think I had put this in a vlog and then I ended up cutting it out. And I don't even know at this point if that vlog ever made it up because I was having trouble editing it and it was so long. So either way, I don't think you've seen this, but I had really seriously thought about giving up on it at about like the 48% mark, and then something happened that was, it seemed like it was gonna follow a different path than I was expecting, and like there could have been something really interesting and different in this kind of change up, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with it. That lasted literally, I think, 2 pages, and I was so disappointed. It was like, what was the point of that? And that's kind of how I felt about a lot of this. There's a lot of like flashbang, big things happening, horrible things happening, people are dying, looting and gangs and extreme violence, sort of government stuff, nuclear type stuff, really horrible, horrible things that seem to get written off really quickly because, of course, the heroine and her friends, for the most part, are gonna escape that unscathed. And though it's not fully unscathed, I mean, some bad things do happen, they're not believably bad enough, I would say. And it also just, I never really feel that it's not gonna come out right in the end, and I never really feel that the way the seas part for her is at all believable. I really wanted to dig deeper, and I know sometimes you just don't get that in YA. I think that is an excuse. I think there is definitely YA that digs deep, but I mean, it's the same for adults. You're gonna have things that do really dig in and give you like a character study or something really fascinating, and then some that are just kind of like fast and fluffy and just kind of get your blood pumping a bit, but they're not really, you know, really getting in there. So it's not just a hallmark of YA by any means, but it did feel like a YA approach in it, if that makes sense. Something that you've seen before, something that you've seen a lot, I would say, and not exciting enough or adventure-y enough to make up for the things that I felt were missing. It wasn't romantic enough, it wasn't a solid enough friend and family story to make up for those things. Like, I just felt, if you're gonna be cutting out the depth, you've got to give me something else that's gonna kind of balance the scales, and nothing really did. It just had a lot of things that were really bothering me and that I never was able to connect. If everything I talked about in that DNF video, I think would apply to this, kind of the indifference, the cheesiness, the voice, all of those things that tend to make me disconnect and feel like a book just isn't worth the investment of time, I think applied to this. I feel like I'm being really mean to this book, and I'm sorry. It's her debut, and I know she's gonna be so excited, and she's probably still in that stage where she's actually looking at reviews, and she's gonna regret that real fast. I'm so sorry about that, but it was really flawed for me. And so I ended up finishing it because I was somewhere where I had no intention. After I recorded that DNF video, I was over it. I was done. I had checked out. But then I was somewhere with an unexpected wait, and it was what was loaded in my phone. So I was like, fine. So I read what I could during that wait, and by the time I was done, I was like a small percentage from being finished. So I went ahead and finished it, even though it still wasn't making up for things for me. And then right towards the end, all this stuff starts happening that I'm like, no, you're just digging the hole deeper. I don't know if there will be a sequel. She definitely leaves it open for there to be one, probably if it does well enough to warrant one. And I don't want it to be. Not like any offense to her or anyone who wants to read it, but I feel like I didn't need a sequel from it. Like, I feel like it needed to be a standalone. It needed to give me some resolution, even if the ending was difficult, even if the ending was hard. Instead, it kind of comes off as a cop-out, because it's like, well, I can throw in these big twists at the end, or these big things that happen, and then I don't have to deal with the problem of them. Ugh, I don't know. So I'm sure this has been way too negative, and I am sorry about that, but those are my thoughts on Valiant, and that's what happens sometimes when you push through a DNF book. It is very quick. I think that it will definitely win some people over, just on the excitement appeal and all of this crazy stuff happening, all the explosions in the background, you know, that wins some people over. But that's not what tends to win me over, and other problems I had with it, combined with the fact that it relied too heavily on the kind of flashbang, really worked against it for me. I don't hate it. It's not the worst book that I read this year, but it's certainly not one of my favorites, and if it doesn't get pretty immediately forgotten, then the only way it's really going to stick around in my brain is as a book that frustrated me. So there you have it. That's what I thought of Valiant by Merrie Destefano. I know a lot of people on the internet don't like negative reviews. Sorry, darling. But around here I tell the truth. And unfortunately for Merrie in the book, that was my truth. But I would definitely be curious to know what you guys think of it if you end up reading it. As I said, I think some people might like it, so you can try to convince me in the comments of reasons to like it, what you think it really has going for it, or if you really connected to the characters. There are things that I think could have been really fascinating if they were more the path that was followed, but I was left with way, way, way too many questions, and just a lot of drama in the place of answers, so didn't really do it for me. But that is all for this video. If you guys would like to see more thoughts on things I've read recently, whether good or bad, more DNF books, if you have another idea for a book chat, or if you are a fan of negative reviews, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and your requests. But that is all for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and of course, happy reading!